It's all about the money with Nhlanhla Makhanya.
Welcome back to It's All About the Money. We now have a special guest with us on the line. Russel Mamabolo, the specialist in communications and outreach at South African Tax Ombuds Office. Russel is here to guide us through the upcoming tax season, July, and the services offered by the Tax Ombud. Russel, it's great to have you with us on the show tonight. How are you doing, Bob?
Thank you very much for having me on the show. It's much appreciated, sir.
KZN, we are shining a light on the upcoming tax season and the essential services that are provided by the Tax Ombuds Office. So tonight, Mr. Mamabolo is going to be helping us to share some invaluable insights to help us, you and I, to navigate our tax obligations and rights with confidence, I'm hoping. Russel, let's just jump right into it. Help us to understand. We know that tax season is fast approaching in July, and one might want to know, Witty, what are the key things that taxpayers should keep in mind to ensure a smooth filing process?
Yeah, I think it's quite important, for everybody, taxpayers, to have this information up front. I mean, it's 2 or 3 months down the line, but evidently July is just around the corner. It is quite important to know that you need to get your tax affairs in order. Make sure that your documents, your IRP5s, and whatever documentation that you'll need when you do e-filing, it's well kept and it's proper. And it is important also to take note that one doesn't miss the deadline, because in this particular instance, normally SARS will give up dates when everybody else who's a taxpayer must do e-filing. So make sure you understand the processes up front, and hence we thought we should go on out and engage on this subject and make sure that everybody understands what is expected of them immediately when the date is announced. And hence we are here, as a tax ombud as well. We do not want to see situation where people are coming to our office complaining that, no, the deadline is just passed and I didn't do this and that, and of which it will be very difficult for us to be able to help you. So hence we thought, let's talk about this, what is expected of you, and how you should go about, doing your, submissions properly.
And as the season is upon us, I'm sure you've begin to receive, or maybe you do anticipate some, demand for your services over the next couple of months up until that time. Talk to us about your role as a tax ombud, and how were you formed? What is your main objective?
Yes. The Tax Ombuds has been established. We are almost 10 years as last year October, and we have been established as an impartial and independent office to try and mediate between taxpayers as well as SARS. You'll understand that in the past, everybody who is frustrated or has complaints with SARS, they'll end up just giving up. But here we are saying there's an alternative. Once you have knocked on SARS doors and there's nothing that you can get and you feel hopeless, approach the office of the Tax Ombud, because we are mandated to review and address any complaint by a taxpayer regarding the service that you get from SARS, procedural matters, and administrative issues. So don't just give up. However, you need to come to us and we see how best we can help you. And there's quite also other things that we do. For an example, we have seen, our legal team has also seen that there are a number of systemic issues, which of course we have published on our website, which we have realized that the systemic issues in this particular instance, from our view, it's particular matters that can be regarded as the underlying cause of a complaint that affects or will affect many taxpayers in the tax system. So we do this proactively by looking into the SARS system and see, how many people are, affected by a particular process, and what is it that we do, because we have all the time to look into these particular cases and also, to recommend to SARS on how to can improve that. And of course as well, we do that as well when we get complaints. If we see there's high number of complaints, for an example, as we speak now, we have complaints about tax refunds. And it's still a systemic issue, and we are saying instead of going to complain to SARS first, come directly to us. We should be able to help you.
We're talking to the Office of the Ombuds about tax matters. As you know very well that it is upon us in July. It's not too far. We might think it's too far, but hey, a month is not much. Now, Mamabolo, tell us, it must be challenging for you as you're saying that you do get a lot of complaints and inquiries and so forth. And I'm sure for the Office of the Ombuds, it's also challenging to deal with all those at the same time. Is the capacity sufficient to be able to handle the influx of calls from all South Africans who are frustrated by tax systems?
Yes, lucky enough is that the systems that we have put in place are able to cope with the number of inquiries and complaints that we receive. And also, what is nice about our office is that you can either complain directly by calling us, and we will guide you in terms of the form that you need to fill in. But capacity is there. Like I've indicated, we do have a number of operations team. We've only have one office so far, and in terms of the way we relate with people, it has actually helped us even to understand, because it's a quick process. You need to tell us exactly what is it that you are complaining on, and the nice thing about this one, Nhlanhla, is that we do have access to the SARS system, so we do not have to request information from SARS. We can simply see, and remember, all interactions that you do as a taxpayer, it's recorded on the system. So you cannot come to us and tell us something that we won't be able to see. And we will exactly confirm, the dates when you have complained, and we can see throughout. And the other thing is that our analysis into the whole system, because remember, the tax legislation changes now and then, annually, and there are improvements that have been done on the Tax Act actually. So our team understands those regulations to the T, that they will know if SARS has not followed the proper process. Say, for example, they've taken your money from, you owe SARS, they've taken money from the bank, but they did not inform you. There's a process that they need to follow. So we are able to even reverse those processes so that SARS can be able to follow the line properly, and even allow taxpayers to engage with them in terms of making proposals on how they can pay through the money that they owe from them. So it's all guided by the Tax Administration Act, and we follow that to the T. So as I'm saying, we are able as a team to make good work, and the feedback that we always receive from taxpayers who have been through our office, it's amazing. So hence we are saying yes, you may feel that SARS is not helping you, but no, there's an alternative of the Tax Ombuds that you can come through and and see how best we can help you with your tax matters.
Well, it does happen to the best of us, which you find yourself our wallet being challenge, especially during this time when interest rates are actually escalating and everyone's complaining and inflation is out of hand, and which does then put financial pressure on both us as taxpayers, and also I'm sure it does also put pressure on government to collect more money. But I'm more interested in the pressure that we are facing as taxpayers, because it might lead taxpayers to employ unscrupulous measures to try and avoid paying tax. Help us to understand then, distinguish in fact between avoiding and evasion of tax.
The nice thing about our processes is that you as a taxpayer, you have rights and entitlements, but you also have obligations. And the obligations part of it is that, you as a taxpayer, you must make sure that you pay your taxes timeously. You are honest and accurate in, dealing with your tax matter. You must comply, but also you must make full and true declaration. What we as a tax ombud, and I believe with SARS, they cannot, entertain, or they cannot assist you with regarding to matters that you have just mentioned, tax evasion and so on. And what you are saying is that, and hence as well, is that if you as a taxpayer, remember, everything goes through the system. The SARS system is so much clever that it sees each and every cent that transact between you and whoever. So employers, they do declarations, and of course they register themselves. They even register, employees that works for them, with SARS. So they will know that obviously they are giving a salary to somebody, and that person is also obliged, to pay tax. So what we are saying, as much as we find ourselves in these circumstances, if you owe SARS, there is a right which is clearly articulated. It says that you are entitled to make certain requests, proposals, applications to SARS. You owe SARS 50,000. You don't have 50,000 now. Do not sit and wait for anything else that you don't know what's going to happen. But you need to, engage with SARS and put your position clearly, motivate why you cannot pay 50,000, but if you have 30,000, or you want to make certain arrangements with them. SARS will be able to listen to you and be able to see how best to help you, because they also want people to pay tax. So it is a right that you're entitled to, to engage with them, and they will be in a better position, to listen to them. I'm not talking on behalf of SARS. However, I know that these processes are there, and we have, compiled these documents referring to compilation of taxpayers' rights, entitlements, and obligations. And it is your right, for you to be able to make these proposals. SARS will listen to you.
I think it's clear, KZN, I hope it's clear to you too as well, that the Office of the Tax Ombud cannot help you to avoid your tax obligations and not to pay your tax that are due. So go out there, make sure that you do what is right. When we come back, we're going to continue with this conversation with Mr. Mamabolo, who's going to help us then to understand. I think when I come back, I need him to help us to understand our right as a taxpayer, with misconceptions that are out there. Maybe you might also have a misconception. Please do contact us on 073 709 1991, or our to the line 086 10 Hopefully your answer may be answered. Vuma FM, Adult Radio for the Young at Heart. Nami Nhlanhla Makhanya. Now in Monday to Thursday, in case you're joining us for the first time, you've missed on a great analysis and a report given by our daily business headline correspondent, who's an editor of Umbele, an online publication, and looking at quite a number of stories that we've touched on today. If you've missed them, shame on you, but you can always get them on our podcast. Go out there to www.vumafm.co.za. It is there. Well, we're about to wrap up our conversation now with our special guest. With us, Mr. Russel Mamabolo, the specialist in communications and outreach at SA Tax Ombudsman Office. Who's a guide, through the upcoming tax season and the services offered by the Office of the Ombud. Now, Mr. Mamabolo, before we see a breaking tea, when we come back, hopefully you might get our questions or misconceptions cleared out, demystified. We understand that our rights as taxpayers are indeed essential. But now we need to understand what are some common misconceptions that taxpayers have about their rights when dealing with SARS, or maybe when you're dealing with you that you get often.
Yeah. Our understanding is that tax is viewed as one of the difficult subjects that many people will want to talk about. And, when we have such conversations, we are able to, create awareness about, what you are just indicated, what are your rights and entitlements as a taxpayer. And we have, compiled, a booklet referred to compilation of taxpayer rights, entitlements, and obligations. And what you are saying there, as much as you have rights and entitlements, you also have obligations as a taxpayer. So they are actually divided into, separated into two. So if I can quickly just take you through some of the rights. For an example, you have the right to access information that is with SARS. Do you know how frustrating it is when you engage with, an institution and only to find that they have your information incorrectly, and you are pressed for time, especially for taxpayers that like to submit their tax returns very late, and you are frustrated with the process, and then you call and they tell you you are caller number 200 on the queue. So you'll imagine you'll be so frustrated. So what you are saying as well is that there's much time now, for you to be able to have a better understanding in terms of the information that is within SARS. Is it correct? It is not correct. Yes, for individual taxpayers who have only, sort of maybe one source of income, it can be easy. But if you have multiple incomes or inflow of income and you have to declare all those information, it can be frustrating if you don't have it correctly. You are also entitled to receive quality and timely service from SARS. From time to time, people call SARS. We do get calls as well. They say, no, the call center agents were rude, and they could not help them. And by the way, you are now having all this frustration with finalizing your tax affairs. It can be very frustrating. You have the right to a fair, unbiased, and just tax system, meaning everything that you need to do must be fair. Yes, you know that you are supposed to, pay so much tax. Let it be that correct tax. And also, there mustn't be any discrimination from you and somebody else. You do not have to pay any more than the correct amount of tax due to SARS. So we are saying SARS cannot collect more money from you than what is actually due. And it does happen from time to time that, maybe somebody has calculated your information, but only to find that, no, it's actually wrong. And hence we have this system to say, if you have been paying, tax throughout the year, but you have paid more, then you are able to get a tax refund at a particular time. So those issues are you have to right to privacy and confidentiality. No one must go anywhere public and talk about your tax affairs, Mr. Makhanya. So we can't even attempt to say, you did not even pay tax or whatever. No, the engagements are between you and SARS. And unless you also come to us and complain, we cannot discuss your issues anywhere else. You have the right to return representation. Of course, you can use anybody who can help you with the process, but it must be a proper registered person, because from time to time we do get complaints that some tax and now it's becoming even popular now. We hear all the stories now. The tax practitioners or the accountants are not proper. They are not doing their work properly. So it's always good to have a proper. And if you suspect there's any, wrongdoing on the part, there are proper channels to report those people. You're entitled to finality. You cannot, SARS cannot go on and on, say, we need to audit you. No, there must be finality in terms of that. Hence, we say you're entitled to finality. You are also entitled to make certain request proposals, applications to SARS. I've explained that one. You are entitled to complain without fear of victimization. No one, if you come to complain to us about SARS, nobody is going to do anything. It's your right, and you're entitled to do that. And lastly, you have the right to dispute challenge assessments. If you feel strongly about the decision or the assessments that the SARS has made, you want to challenge them. We see from time to time people are taking, SARS to court. But we say, look, don't spend too much money going to court. Try us first, and we will be able to look into this, the dispute that you'll want to launch. If you have made a dispute, unfortunately in this case, if you have made a dispute, we cannot interfere in the process, but you have the right to dispute anyway. So you can even come to us. We'll be able to, to help you with those processes. So I quickly ran through them, Mr. Makhanya.
Thank you so much. I'm sure it's never enough. Time is never enough, but I'm sure our producer will invite you again to make sure which we, clarify other maybe aspects or maybe questions that you might have received after this interview from our listeners. Thank you so much for your time. But before I let you go, I'm sure our listeners would like to know if they really need to, talk to the Ombud or file a complaint. How do they go about doing that? Is there a contact number, or how do we get hold of you?
We have a toll-free number that you can use. It's 0800 662 837. 0800 662 837. A lot of our information is on our website, www.taxombuds.gov.za, and we are also active on all these social media, platforms. On Facebook, we are available there, X, Instagram, and so on. So we are available through those platforms as well. We can reach us there.
All right. Thank you so much. That is Russel Mamabolo. He is the Specialist Communications and Outreach at the Office of Tax Ombuds. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you very much.
7 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's all about the money with Nhlanhla Makhanya.